nobody there yet. Okay. Nothing yet. Nobody. Okay. I have some 4 people watching, so I wait a few, 1 more minute to start. Good evening, Nancy. Okay. I'm waiting for a few more minutes for the rest to show up. Okay. Perhaps they've fallen asleep or something. Nancy, where are you watching from? Ah, okay. You're from Lipa. I think I've given enough time for them to show up, so I'll just go ahead. Okay. Hi, everyone. This is the astrology forecast for February 2021. So I'm going to start with Aries. The beginning of the month will start smoothly for Venus, entering the Aquarius on the 1st of February until the on your first house of your long-term plans, goals and dreams and friends until the 24th of February. This month will be focused on interacting with groups of people, making plans for the future, and you will be in need for the urge to interact and meet people. In the first 2 days of February, the moon in Libra in your 7th house of friends. You will be feeling charming, ready to mingle, and feeling excited for the future. However, the first 20 days of February from the 1st to the 20th, Mercury is still in retrograde in the area of your connected to long-term plans and goals and dreams. It could also mean reconnecting with old friends, acquaintances. This tends to happen during Mercury retrograde. This could also mean that you will be revisiting old plans, dreams, goals in the past that you set aside and try to revive them. I have to move this one. Hang on a minute. Mercury is also governing your 6th house of your day-to-day work. This is the time to finalize your unfinished business or work left undone. There is a warning, however, if you are signing anything, agreements, loans, legal documents, read the fine print. Also, when sending emails, check and double check before signing. Throughout the entire month, there could be some frustration because Saturn is also going through your house of goals and dreams in a tense aspect with Uranus on the 2nd house. Though you are ready to achieve your goals, there may be some tendency to overspend because of negligence about the implications of the cost. Review your budget. From the 3rd of February to the 11th of February, Mars on the second house of income is squaring the Sun conjunct Mercury in the 11th house. This will trigger you to spend money really fast to make things happen, not realizing the consequences of not planning the budget beforehand. On a positive note, from the 14th until the 25th of February, Mars is in trine with Pluto in your 10th house of February. And that is exact on the 25th. If you are in need of support from your boss or someone in a position of authority, it will come easy. On the 11th of February, we have the new moon with 6 planets in Aquarius, and the moon is also in Aquarius. You will feel effect of the moon 3 days before or after, more or less. And at this time, the new moon, there is a tense aspect with Mercury in the 11th house, squaring Mars in Taurus in your 2nd house of income. You will enter a new beginning, a phase of life, something to happen to you, but might forget to plan budget ahead, not thinking of the consequences. Before you start anything, ask for an advice of a friend or a consultant, depending on the nature of your planning, what you're planning to start with. Around this time, you might need someone or group of people that you feel that you need to belong to an extent. But be careful, because you might be giving than you are receiving, and self-shattering. On the 18th of February, the Sun will enter Pisces in your 12th house. And on the 25th, Venus enters Pisces on the 12th house. It will make you feel you had enough. You want to rest. The full moon happening in Virgo on your 12th house, 6th house axis, with highlighting service and health. It looks like on the 27th of February, you will be feeling fulfilled with your accomplishments, with work-related matter. It's time to step back and relax away from your duties and responsibilities, even for a short period. Also, full moon and the Sun is highlighting and are in the pleasant aspect to Uranus, the planet of surprises. A few things may happen. There may be surprising ending to your energy-consuming projects, or ending from physical suffering or ailments that you might have been going through for a while. On the 28th of February, there is a grand trine happening on Earth signs. The moon in Virgo in your house of work and health, Mars in Taurus in your 2nd house of values and income, and Pluto, the planet of evolution, power, death and rebirth, and transformation, and on your 10th house of career and authority. It looks like you will have some financial compensation due to career achievements. The best days or the favorable days of February for you is on the 14th and the 25th, and the challenging days are on the 10th and the 17th when the Taurus is squaring Uranus. Well, that's it for Aries, and now for the Taurus. Taurus, the key word here is structural changes. You will not, you will not look like the same after 2021. Let me break it down for you. The 1st of February until almost the last week, there will be much emphasis on your house of career, your direction, career-wise, where you're heading professionally. The next 2 days of the month are nicely aspected in the terms of work-related topic. The moon in Libra in the 6th house of co-workers and day-to-day work is aspecting nicely in the planets in Aquarius and your 10th house of career. There will be good cooperation with co-workers. The team is on your side and you might be negotiating some deals for a bonus maybe or a pay rise perhaps. There will be a good result with negotiation around this time, especially when on the 1st of February until the 24th, while Venus, the planet of negotiation, is going through your 6th house of day-to-day work. On the 20th day of the month, Mercury is still retrograde in your house of career. You might be dealing with old challenges at work related, bosses, or where you're headed work-wise. You will be dealing with them once again. You know the saying, patience is a virtue, and you Taurus have a lot of it. You are steady, reliable, and patient. You can use these qualities in the first three weeks of Mercury retrograde in your house of career. This is a good time to reach out to old clients if you want to make a new deal or sell. It's a great time to strengthen relationships with people of influence and authority in the professional sector. It could also mean an offer that is too good to say no to, especially on the 11th of February with the new moon in Aquarius, taking 3 days before and 3 days after. There is a high probability of unpredictability related to this new moon, and this unpredictability seems to be all coming together in your career sector or career direction. But also in a good way, good disrupted way. Given that Taurus is a fixed sign and don't like sudden changes. Excuse me. Throughout the entire month of February, Saturn is in your house of career, squaring Uranus in the 1st house. This aspect is exact on the 17th of February. Sounds like a cliche, but your patience and resilience and your ability to stick to processes and to confirm will be tested by your bosses and by people in position of authorities. By the end of the month, you will have the feeling to break free from the restriction in the career environment. You will have the urge to do something. Uranus in the first house is urging you to scream freedom. There is also a nice aspect contradicting the hindrances along the way in this month of long frustration, symbolically trying to maintain and assert your individuality, but maybe hitting several walls along the way from the figures of authority between the 3rd and the 11th of February. Mars in your first house, squaring Sun, conjunct Mercury in your 10th house, which adds to the tension, will be feeling more belligerent and hostile. More than usual, but from the 7th to the 14th of February, Mars is in your first house of action, sextiling Neptune on the 11th house. So you seem to have friend or group of friends who wants to support you in your actions and want to support you in breaking free from the confines of your current career path and from the positions where you find yourself career-wise. From the 14th until the 25th of February, Mars in your first house of self and action, aspecting nicely with Pluto in your ninth house, and the aspect is exact on the 25th. This time, you might be feeling in the mood to plan for a long-term or long-distance travel. This is the time when the opportunity to travel is indeed supported by the aspect in this time frame. The new moon on the 11th of February, as I mentioned earlier, is highlighting a new beginning in your career sector. It can be something that you are consciously aware of, but it could be something that you subconsciously projecting. But the universe seems to be making the decisions for you. It's either you break free or create a lot of disruption in your workplace so that you can't find your peace in there anymore. There is a time for a big career change, and you know it. You can hang to in the past, but the future is creeping up on you. In a good way, though. On the 18th of February, the Sun is moving to Pisces in your 11th house of friends, and from the 25th, we also have the Venus also entering this area, and this culminating in with the full moon in Virgo on the 2nd of February, give and take 3 days before and 3 days after, where it triggers the access of love and friendship. You can say that from the 18th, you will become more sociable, more focused on spending time with friends, feeling sense of belonging in your tribe, with your group of people, and from there, you can have the aha moment. Finally, around the 27th of February, when the full moon in Virgo is essentially making you to have with friends because both the sun and the moon are in pleasant aspects. To Uranus in your first house. It is also time when friends will come to rescue you and will start to bring back the joy into your life as you are feeling very conflicted throughout January and also February. There is a fantastic grand trine on the 28th of February. Hi, Joanna. Hi, thanks. Sorry. It's difficult because I'm reading it. I prepared it so that I don't stutter, but apparently I still stutter. But let me continue. There's a fantastic run fine happening on the 28th of February on the earth signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, with the moon in Virgo in your fifth house, Mars in your first house, and Pluto in your ninth house. This is a very good, beautiful time to have fun with meeting friends and enjoy yourselves. The best days and favorable days for you are the 14th and the 25th of February, and the challenging days are on the 10th and the 17th when Saturn is squaring Uranus. So there you go, Taurus. That's your February 2021. And now, Gemini. Ah, what a man, Gemini. You're probably one of the most that will quite enjoy February as opposed to the fixed signs, who are having challenging time, and cardinal signs which are a little bit, but well, yeah, not so good. Your mutable energy is generally going to enjoy excitement, and there is a lot of going on this month, especially on the first 3 weeks of the month in the ninth house. Literally, this is revolving around long distance travel, foreign affairs, interacting with foreigners, learning from different culture, and the ninth house is also associated with societies and ideas, publishing your ideas and launching a piece of work to address a wider audience. And if you are into publishing or blogging or learning higher education, this is a fantastic time for self-promotion, especially the first 3 days of the month. The first couple of days of February, we have the moon in Libra, nicely aspecting planets in your ninth house in Aquarius. This couple of days are very romantic and creative in nature, and you will be feeling inspired. I wonder. You will be in the mood to play and express yourself, and if you are in a relationship, you will be feeling very connected with your romantic partner. Hi, darling. However, on the 20th of the month, let's not forget that Mercury is still retrograde in your ninth house. You could still be dealing with the past challenges and issues of past plans that you might have postponed or put on hold related to travel, publishing, or self-promotion, or anything legal. Courts of law, visas, scholarship, documents needed to advance your studies, that sort of papers. There could be some hiccups with and bureaucracy to deal with. Through the entire month, there's a tense aspect between Saturn in your ninth house associated with long distance travel, higher minds, and higher education. Saturn is squaring Uranus on the 12th house, and the aspect is exact on the 17th of February, which is the most challenging days of the month. But this goes for everybody anyway. You might have some unexpected surprises and unexpected elements thrown in the mix when it comes to furthering your plans related to travel, higher education, and or court of law. Patience is going to be the patience is going to be of the essence. Don't get overly frustrated, feeling that the world is going to sabotage you. Consider this is a blessing in disguise giving you time to set a very strong foundation for what you are trying to promote, to study or to travel. From the 14th until the 25th of February, Mars is in your house of spirituality. Spirituality. Shadow of the past lives and also isolation is going to be in the beautiful aspect with Pluto in your eighth house of partnership, transformation, death, and rebirth. In this period, you will have a eureka moment. Eureka! Relating to your personal crisis that you will have been going through in the past 3 years, which escalated like very likely in 2020, and now you're starting to let go of the negative emotions and had attached yourself to this crisis and starting to see how strong and regenerating effect it had upon on you for the better. On the 11th of February, the new moon in Aquarius with 6 planets in Aquarius. There are clusters in there. Your focus is on, your entire focus will be on long distance travel, education, and belief system in general. You might seem to be having an enlightened moment in terms of what you believe in terms of the big picture, and your life philosophy as well. This new moon can play internally, but it can also be physically and tangibly external world, with you embarking on a new course of study in higher education in particular, making plans for the travel, having something that requires a great deal of exposure. Mercury is retrograde around this time, so if you are posting anything, please check and double check. Double check everything before posting anything in the social media. This could be something technical. There could be something technical-ish, difficulties with technical issues, but it will still make a big splash, which is the most important thing. From the 18th until almost the end of the month, the focus is shifting on your house of career. The sun will enter Pisces in your 10th house of career, and on the 10th, Venus entering the 10th house as well. On the 10th house, until the 20th of March. You will be everyone's sweetheart, the apple of the eye of especially your bosses or people of authority. This focus on your house of career is culminating with full moon in Virgo on the 27th of February, triggering your house of career and your house and home of private life. This is most likely a culmination in your family residence sector that seems to be shining its rays upon the professional paths, status, and position in the world as well. Some of you Geminis might move out of home. Some of you might buy a new house or build one. There could be some change of residence on the menu for Geminis, and some might hear a very pleasant, unexpected news that changing both your status and your place in the world in your career, journey, and path. Because of what's happening to the family and the home sector of your house, there is a pleasant, unexpected element of surprise with Uranus in a fantastic aspect with both Sun and the Moon and Uranus in your place is in place in your 12th house. So you will not see this coming. A real surprise. It can also play out in various different forms. So I recommend to have a flexibility on your schedule around this time because you might be required to be at home for the good reason to reveal and enjoy this surprise. February is going to end with a bang, with a grand trine on Earth signs. On the 20th of February, the moon is in Virgo, in your house of home. Mars on the 12th house with the shadow, past and dissolution, egos, and hidden enemies. And Pluto on the 8th house, the house of shared resources, other people's money, inheritance, and partnership. The best days and favorable days are the 14th and the 25th of February because it's trining Pluto, and when Mars is trining Pluto. And the challenging days are the 10th and the 17th when Saturn is squaring Uranus. That is for you, Gemini. Good luck. You actually have a good one. I'm curious because I know some Geminis. Okay, and now for Cancerians. Cancer. The entire month, or at least the first 20 days of February, is focused on your 8th house of partnership, shared resources, inheritance, taxes, banks, insurance, gifts, investments, and also the house of sex and intimacy, and also the house of death and transformation. The first couple of days of February, where the moon is in Libra, the full moon in Libra is in your 4th house of home and family, is nicely aspecting the planets on your house in Aquarius. If you have been having conflict with family members or having tough time at home, things will be settling down and smooth out. For the first 20 days of February, let's not forget that Mercury is still retrograded at this time on your 8th house. This might have to deal with some postponed shadow work when it comes to Mercury retrograde period. Mercury is the ruler of the 12th house of spirituality and also the 3rd house of communication. So if you have been postponing some very important talks with partners, with some institution and people of authority about finances, this is the time where the opportunity to go back and talk to them. You will be offered this opportunity whether you like it or not. Throughout the entire month, another tense aspects, Saturn in your 8th house, squaring Uranus and the 11th house of long-term plans and goals and dreams, friends and ideas. This aspect is exact on the 17th of February, which is the most challenging day of the month. So there will be some frustrations which relates to release of funds that will hold you back putting into practice your long-term plans for the future. There may also be a feeling of crisis and a possibility, even betrayal, from your friends that may be behaving weird at this time. Between the 7th and the 14th of February, Mars is nicely sextiling Neptune in your 9th house in Pisces. If you are thinking that some of your friends are acting weirdly or acting out, it's because they need some compassion. After all, Neptune is the planet of this dissolution, dreams, mysticism, imaginations, and intuition. Your patience and tolerance will be tested around Your patience and tolerance with your friends will be tested around this time. On the 11th of February, the new moon is happening in Aquarius on your 8th house with 6 planets in Aquarius. You might hear news about external source of investment that you were asking for that you needed. It can be a scholarship, insurance, tax rebate, inheritance, and voila, maybe lotto. For the ones who are asking for lotto, this is the time, 11th of February, for the Cancerians. Given 3 days and before and 3 days after. There can be also unexpected surprises because you also got Uranus in the mix. This can also mean that you might rely on a partner's resources and finances as well. This can also be a new chapter that is affecting you indirectly because it's bringing in a new beginning in your partner's resources, finances, if you have a partner or committed to someone. Otherwise, could be someone, a friend maybe. From the 18th of February onwards, until almost at the end of the month, you can breathe with a sigh of relief because the difficult times are behind you. The Sun entering Pisces in the 9th house of long-distance travel, higher mind and education. From the 25th, Venus is entering From the 25th, Venus is also entering this part of the chart until the 20th of March. Venus in this part of the chart is not a bad idea to start thinking about traveling again, exploring, and also studying again. Travels around this time is more enjoyable than usual. On the 27th is the full moon in Virgo in your 3rd house. The 3rd house, which is the house of logical mind, transportation, brothers and sisters, siblings, communication, networking, and it's also triggering your 9th house on the higher mind and belief system. There is also a change that you will hear or unexpected pleasant news from your siblings because Uranus is involved. However, I highly restrain you from buying any electrical devices, computers, appliances, cars, anything that involves electric during the Mercury retrograde. Because gadgets bought around this time, it tends to break down very easy. If you can't wait until the 21st, please wait at least until the 27th, and then afterwards, it will be okay. Mars will be direct by then. There's a chance of catching up with people or friends that you have not seen for a very long time. There's a fantastic grand trine happening on the 28th of February on the air signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This is a fantastic day to reach communication breakthrough with partners, be it romantic partner or business partner. It is also a fantastic day to sign deals that are related to long-term plans. So that's it for you Cancerians. And now for Leo. Excuse me, but the light is really blinding my eye. I can't read properly. So let me at least tone it down a bit so it's not hurting my eye. Can you still see me? I put down the light a little bit. Okay, now, sorry for that. Okay, here we go, Leo. February is the month of compromise for you. You are going to learn the art of compromising. You will have to give in to people, and the people are most likely to be embodied by either your life partner or your business partner, or if you work in any kind of some consultancy based environment, there is going to be a lot of back and forth and a lot of negotiations. At the times, you might end up getting frustrated because no matter how you push and exert your willpower, it just won't give in. It's like one step forward and two steps backward. So, for the sake of keeping your sanity, you will compromise. This time is the time to take a humble approach and not allow your bruised ego to get in the way of progress. So you can move forward in your relationship, but be it business oriented or romantic relationships. On the first 20 days of February, pretty much 3 weeks out of 4, is going to be committed on partnership and relationship. Mercury is retrograde in your house of partnership until the 20th of February. Well, actually, it started on the 30th in January, 30th of January, and it's still retrograde until the 20th of February. This can be a time when your partner is not getting your message. There will be a lot of communications, and you might have to repeat yourself to go over again to the ones you already agreed with your partner. It's like the agreement had been changed and the renegotiation is again on the table. Another frustrating aspect, Uranus in your 10th house of career associated with bosses and people of influences, is in the 10th aspect with Saturn in your 7th house of partnership, marriage, and committed relationship. This can mean that your bosses and people of influence coming up with unexpected obstacles, throwing them into the mix in your career plan. You might also experience the reverse as a partner you are relying on, the one that is supporting you will back out. You will try to compromise because it is better to help than doing everything by yourself. You might also consider your career plans and partnerships around this time. And the aspect is exact on the 17th. Fear not, there's also nice aspects. From the 7th until the 14th of February, Mars is in the 10th house of your house of career, and it's sextiling Neptune in your 8th house of actions. So the actions you have taken to advance your professionally, to further your career and objective, is based on compassion, understanding, and attunement to other people's psyche and motivations. So stepping in from a place of compassionate and tolerant action is like preempting other people's needs that may be in the way for a time being for your advancement career-wise, is probably a good thing to do. Don't take everything personally. Try to see the fuss is all about and try to see if there's something you can do or offer emotional support so they can be uh, so they can also get out of your way. So it's a win-win situation. There is also a possibility that between this time frame, you may be receiving bonuses from work. The eighth house is also associated with bonuses and lump sum of money. Uh, from the 14th until the 25th, Mars on your house of careers, bosses, is going to be a nice aspect with Pluto on your sixth house of day-to-day work. So, crisis at work seems to be reaching a point of resolution, and you are seeing a way forward, which most likely involving getting rid of some structures in your current work life. On the 11th of February, the new moon in Aquarius in your seventh house of marriage and long-term partnership. Some Leos are going to get engaged or get married at this time. Some Leos will start pooling resources with a partner. Whatever your partnership, whatever you're doing partnership-wise, you seem to be reaching a new level of commitment. You might be signing a collaboration contract with someone to help you take up some of the load on your shoulders from a business partner, but you seem to be reluctantly accepting that you needed help. From the 18th until the end of the month, the focus is shifting towards your eighth house, which is the house of intimacy, shared resources, partnership, and also psychological transformation. Venus will move into this part of the chart on the 25th. Before that, the sun is shining a light on this part of the chart, and there is a culmination around the area of shared finances in your life around the 27th of February. This will have the full moon in Virgo triggering your money axis. Your second house, which is your income, against your eighth house, which is the house of shared resources. It looks like that around the 27, give and take 3 days before, 3 days after, you are reaching a mutual and empowering financial agreement with a partner in your life, and there is a very pleasant aspect to Uranus, the planet of surprise, in your house of career. There is a very high level of reluctancy and skepticism that you might have had towards welcoming someone into your life, and pooling resources with them will actually pay off eventually. If you have been waiting for a lump sum of money to make its way to you, well, there will be some delays due to Mercury retrograde. You are likely to hear news, a very pleasant news around the 27th of February. This could mean that you are having hard, this could also mean that you are having hard time reaching some folks that owed you money until at least the 27th for the work that you've been doing or for some other reason. There is a fantastic grand trine happening on the 28th of February on the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The moon in Virgo of your incomes and values, Mars in the 10th house of your career, and Pluto in the sixth house of health. After this financial back and forth, you might be experiencing frustration with a partnership will reach to a point and realize that it's not that bad to ask or welcome help, and it's not that bad to merge powers. The best days and favorable days are February 14th and the 25th, and the challenging days are the 10th and the 17th when Saturn is squaring Uranus. That's it for what do you call that? So that's for the Cancer, and now sorry, that's for Leo, and now Virgo. I know some Virgos are watching, so Virgo, here we go. This month is especially the first 3 weeks of the month are usually emphasizes on your sixth house of day-to-day work and health. You have a lot of work to do, even more than you normally have. Essentially, until the sun moves out of your sixth house and until Mercury gets out of retrograde in your sixth house, everything is revolving around work-related matters, colleagues, your teams, and health. I have need you have the need to put it out there. It seems to be the need to really redo the day-to-day routine because you reach to the point of business that does not seem to be boarding with your health and well-being. There should be a need of reshuffling of tasks and priorities this month. Mercury is in your governing planet, and that rules your sense of identity is in retrograde in the sixth house of your day-to-day work until the 20th of February. You might have to go to previous work-related projects. Where was I? You might also have to deal with health-related matters, and you might have inherited some. Okay, sorry. You might have to go to previous work-related projects. You may review some of them. You will be frustrated because it's taking you away from your family-related issues. You may also have to deal with health-related matters that you might have inherited from someone in your family because Mercury on your also rule your fourth house, which is connected to the past and also connected to at least one of your parents. It's not it's nothing major, but it's better routine can't handle. But your attention is probably going to be called towards this part of your life. The challenging the challenges that you will be dealing with is most likely something you know of because you dealt with it in the past. Another tense aspect is exact on the 17th of February is Saturn in your sixth house of day-to-day work and health in a tense aspect with Uranus in your ninth house. This might be the time for you be reaching a point, especially on the 17th. The entire month seems to be testing your patience related to co-workers, how you work with and teams with people. There seems to be a major clash in belief system. You have an attachment on your way of doing things. You have an attachment to the way of you doing things, your processes, your rules. You seem to be having people from the outside that have different belief system altogether questioning your method, and it will probably mess your head. I recommend one, don't let them mess with your head, and two, choose your battles, or it will have a negative impact on your health, and you don't want to get there. There are some pleasant aspect as well. On the 7th until the 14th, Mars is in the ninth house of long distance travel. Higher mind, higher education, belief system is in a beautiful aspect with Neptune, the planet of dreams, intuition, mysticism, imagination, and disillusions is in your seventh house. So when things are not going your way, it's fantastic idea to escape from mundane aspects of life and start dreaming and planning and organizing, having to think about where you can travel this year with a partner. I know it's not easy with COVID, but yeah, it is also a fantastic time if you can if you can, between 7 and the 25th, you can learn a new way of looking at how people think and see things from a different perspective. It will make ease. It will make ease your frustration with co-workers. Also, between the 14th and the 25th, Mars in Taurus is in your ninth house, and it's trining Pluto in your fifth house. And the aspect is exact on the 25th of February. It's a really good time to connect with a romantic partner on a mental and physical level. On the 11th of February, the new moon in Aquarius is in your sixth house of day-to-day work with six planets in Aquarius. So the energies can get any stronger than this. No matter whether you like it or not, no matter whether you agree to it or not, it seems that you are entering to a new work-related chapter altogether. For a lot of you means a new job, and for many of you it may mean new team that you will be working with. Um, there is a transformation, reforming, uh, and this reform because Aquarian energy is very strong in it's very difficult to read. Revolutionizing things. Revolutionizing things. Okay. Sorry about that. I really have to switch off the lamp. Sorry. I can't read. Okay, better. Okay, there will be a reform of processes that you'll be sticking to at work, and there will be complete disruption in revolutionizing in your daily routines, which might give you a little bit of mental anxiety. But don't worry, it will be easier in the last week of February onwards. It will also be a time to increase your objectivity related to your state of health, what's good for you and what's not good for you, what habits you might get rid of, what processes at work not actually supporting your mental health. You might not realize until you reach the point of crisis, until you hit a wall, be it physical or be it mental. From the 18th of February onwards, and pretty much until the end of the month, there will be a shift of focus on the seventh house from your long-term partnership and committed relationship. On the 11th, the sun starts illuminating your house of partnership. On the 25th, Venus is bringing its joyful, pleasant rays into your house of partnership and marriage. And on the 27th, we have the culmination of full moon in Virgo, triggering the first house, the seventh house axis. This is the time where you acknowledge that you have changed your identity, perspective as a result of a partnership in your life. You might be pleasantly surprised and realize and acknowledge that at least in the past 6 months, a partner in your life, someone who might have much more like a bohemian, artistic, and compassionate, and less practically less practical less practical life philosophy is actually contributing to life philosophy in a good way, in a way that brings peace of mind. At the end of the full moon, there will be a pleasant aspect when the moon is on the first house. So emotions and in the sun in the seventh house, a partnership to Uranus in your ninth house. So emotionally, things start to click for you, and you will probably be very thankful to a partner at that time. Because Uranus plays on the ninth house, which is also associated with environments triggering the full moon, some of you might actually get engaged around this time or sign some very official legal work that bears a great deal of weight in the future uh, of your as a team, as a couple, as partners, and also be officially uh, legalizing a business partnership at this time. It's very difficult to read. Should have made it bigger. There is a fantastic run trine happening on the 28th of February on the Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The moon in Virgo in your first house, Mars on the ninth house, and Pluto in your fifth house of love, enjoyment, and creativity. This is a fabulous time to promote to the world any sort of creative work that you do, and it's also a time that you will start to feel more confident in the future and experience almost an epiphany of moments that puts into perspective an emotional suffering that you might be going through, especially in January and February. The best days or the favorable days are the 14th of February and the 25th of February. And to this one, I will also add the 28th of February. And the challenging days are the 17th and 24th of February. Okay, so that it's for Virgo. Sorry, I have to scroll down. And now Libra. Libra is one of the few signs that most likely enjoy February. There's going to be a whole lot of emphasis on the house of creativity and fun, which is generally is a good time. Throughout the couple of days of February, there is a beautiful aspect when the moon is transiting your house of identity, aspecting your planets on the fifth house of romance. So the first couple of days can actually make quite the romantic time. You also have Venus, the planet of love, the planet that governs your signs Libra, transiting through Aquarius on the fifth house until the 24th. Venus is a planet of love. The fifth house is in the house of what you love and what you enjoy doing. You are really getting the long end of the stick in February. A lot of people might say, oh, there's COVID, lockdown, etc. How can we meet people? But there's another way of meeting people. You don't have to be physically around to enjoy a romantic time. Until the 20th of February, Mercury is on retrograde on the fifth house of love. So this means in general, people in the past might reach out to you with romantic proposal. Some of you might say, I don't care much about love. Tell me something good or another good news. Well, there is, in the first 3 weeks of February, you will probably be asked to work again in an old creative project, something that you might started a while back, maybe left it out and unfinished, or you might have a certain client that will come back and asking for you for continuation or an update for this creative project. In terms of creativity, the first 3 weeks of February are fantastic when it comes to collaborating with an old colleague or partners in general. Okay. Because of Mercury retrograde, things might look better than what they actually are. So you tend to get excited, but afterwards, after the retrograde, only to find that you might have overlooked some details with regards to what you got your teeth into. Hello, Denny. Hello, Madame Lorna. Through the whole month, Saturn in your fifth house, creativity is squaring Uranus in your eighth house of your shared resources and partnership, death and rebirth. The aspect is exact, and you are likely to feel the strength, to feel it strongest on the 17th of February. What is happening to you might take you a romantic partner to take to the next level. You want to get steamy but frustrated because the obstacles in the way. Distance, of course, is an example of that. This time could also be frustrating for you with regards to finance. Someone not paying you enough for the work that you put in, and it could rub you the wrong way. Between the 14th and the 25th of February, Mars in Taurus is in your 8th house, is going to be trining Pluto in the 4th house of home and family, real estate, and aspect is also exact, and it's as at its strongest on the 25th. Essentially, you will be smoothing things up, patching things up with family members over some strong emotional crisis. It can also manifest as an internal event. You might be also burying the hatchet of war with regards to an older conflict with family member or an old wound coming from your childhood. This is a very healing aspect. You seem to be taking action in order to heal, and it's making room for you to move forward in life in a much lighter stage. That might involve some folks, that might involve for some folks saying goodbye to some family members or moving away from family members, but it seems to be the better for the sake of everyone involved in the potential conflict or uncomfortable emotional situation. On the 11th of February, the moon in your fifth house with six planets in Aquarius, given 3 days before and 3 days after of February, you are probably going to give birth to your biggest creative projects. Something that you were probably busy with for the last 2.5 years, with Saturn transiting through Aquarius until March 2023. You'll be laying the greatest foundation of your greatest creation ever. Some may be entering into a whole new chapter when it comes to romantic life. It seems to be a new chapter, especially on a mental level, your philosophy, and your belief system. From the 18th of February onwards, the culmination around the 27th is emphasized on your house of day-to-day work and health. The Sun will enter Pisces in your sixth house of day-to-day work. Venus is entering Pisces on the 25th and also on the sixth house. And the 27th. We have the full moon in Virgo triggering your axis of service. The 12th house is what you give to others and self-sacrifice, and the 6th house is where you make other ourselves or yourselves in service to others in a tangible, practical way. We also get paid for it, you know. There's a good chance around this time you probably hear some really positive news coming from work. You are either getting an approval for a big budget or will come to at peace when it comes to co-workers. Some of you might be adding members to the team, recruiting or something. A lot will be getting a bonus around this time from work. But because it is unexpected, it's going to be more pleasant. The best days for you, Libra, and the favorable days are the 14th and 25th of February, and the most challenging, and also the 28th. 28th is also good. The challenging days are the 10th and the 17th of February. And now, on to Scorpio. For the first 3 weeks of the month, everything is to be revolving around family, home, residence, real estate matters. One of your parents might need help from you in the first part of the month, especially on the 20th when Mercury gets out of retrograde in this part of your chart. If we take the shadow period of Mercury in retrograde, we have a very good chance if you are having to deal with someone with financial issues in the family sector. It could be because of an old issue coming back to the surface with regards to shared resources. There is also a tendency for you to spend a significant amount of money on the home-related matters. It's either a partner that needs your help or a parent. If you're waiting for an approval for a mortgage or a loan for the home, it probably will come later than expected. The first couple of days of February, the moon in Libra is in your 12th house shadow. Rest, subconscious, past life, spiritual realm is nicely aspecting the planets in your 4th house of home and family. You might be feeling that you are resting, enjoying what you have. It's a moment of rest. Take this rest because you'll be needing it. From the 1st of February until the 24th, Venus is entering Aquarius in your 4th house of home and family once again. There's a lot of love coming from your family. There'll be a strengthening of relationship, bonding, possibly because you are probably dealing with a lot of serious long-term challenges, and it is almost like all parties involved to be open a dialogue for compromise. The other challenging aspect in Saturn is Saturn on the 4th house of home and family, squaring Uranus through your entire month in your 7th house of partnership, and the aspect is exact on the 17th. This is the energy of negotiations, drawing your boundaries, and compromise. You might feel a little bit frustrated because you might feel that you are compromising more than the others on your boundaries, but it seems for a good cause. Between the 14th and the 25th, Mars is in Taurus, and Mars is actually your traditional ruler in the 7th house. The house of partnership is going to bring trining Pluto on the 3rd house of communication. This aspect is exact on the 25th. So after 3 weeks of negotiations, miscommunications with partners or family members or a partner, the trine will help you strike a deal. On the 11th of February, give and take 3 days before, 3 days after, the new moon in Aquarius is in your fourth house of home, family, and residence, and the past as well. You are probably moving into a new home at this time, possibly welcoming a new member of the family into your life. And there is something to be a big structural uh, changing about your home. There is something big and structural that is changing about all your home. Some folks might have to be investing in real estate or acquiring new property. Some folks might embark on a longer term, or at least for the 6 months, of renovating the home. And this will require some time and mental energy, not to mention the finances. So you also require to give in some else's opinion, not only your opinion other than yours. This looks like a major structural changes in your life for 2021, and you are called to embrace. From the 18th onwards, the Sun enters Pisces in your fifth house of love and children. On the second, 27th, Venus entered this part of your chart, and on the 27th, the culmination of full moon in Virgo triggering the fifth house on 11th house axis. After the 18th, after the 18th, the end of the month, until the end of the month, the focus is shifting towards romance, towards children, creativity, inspired, creativities and hobbies. You will also be feeling loved and appreciated, and you also be feeling inspired until the next month with Venus in this part of your chart. On the 27th of February, give and take 3 days before, 3 days after, the full moon in Virgo is triggering your house of long-term plans, your house of creativity and individual self-expression. These are both in a pleasant aspect with Uranus on your seventh house of partnership. Something unexpected will happen at this time. Some of you will commit to a partner or will hear an unexpected but positive new partner in life. And if it's not a partner romantically, it could also be a business partner. Unexpected collaboration and creativity is also the features around this time. If you have children, it is definitely a good news from the side of the good news on the side of the children making its way to you. You will feel privileged. The best days and favorable days are February 14th, when Neptune, this is a very romantic days actually for you, is the 14th of February and the 25th, 14th and the 25th of February. And the challenging days are the 10th and 17th when squaring Mars with big misunderstanding. Saturn is squaring Uranus. It's not really helping, but my eyes are getting really, really tired. Okay, Sagittarius. There'll be a lot of learning, communicating, a lot of talking and networking in the first 2 days of February. We have a beautiful aspect from the moon in Libra on the 11th house of goals, plans, friendship, and is aspecting nicely in the planets in Aquarius on the third house of communication. This couple of days is the best for you to sign deals, especially before the deal you made before Mercury retrograde on the 30th of January. This deal will sort of come back in your radar and attention, and in that case, you will started this deal a while back, then it's a good idea to sign in the next 2 days, the next first 2 days of February. It is also a very good sign for reconnecting with old friends. In the first 20 days of February, Mercury retrograde is on the third house of communication. There is a very good chance that you will get in touch with an old friends or colleagues that you might have to go through to get through old deals, old emails, communication, some of communication in the past, and there could be also a delay and slowlessness and a bit of irritation and frustration. To all matters to have that's something to do with travel, be it short distance or long distance travel. You can have issues with your car or any electronic devices. This you might have known already, but you delayed the repairs until the time has come. You also have to deal with communication with sibling. But if you don't have one, be very patient with them and don't get annoyed, because you need to be on their side. Mars in Taurus is trining Pluto in Capricorn in your second house between the 14th and until the 25th of February. And it looks like a major work project is starting to pay off. It looks like you have been hustling since the 6th of January when Mars entered your house of income, and expenses might have gone up, but also your money intake has also gone up throughout this period. And it looks like that you are taking between the 14th and the 25th. You had some sort of health related issues in the past that is about to heal. This is the period when the healing will begin. If you don't heal completely, at least you will know the core of the problem. On the 11th of February, give and take 3 days before, 3 days after, we have a new moon in Aquarius on the third house of communication, siblings, transportation, with 6 planets on Aquarius. You might be embarking on a longer chapter that may last until March 2023, when Saturn is getting out of this part of your chart. A longer chapter of developing your logical, practical, tangible, applicable knowledge and skills. You might embark on a course of study, practical learning process like an apprenticeship, for example. You might join light-minded individuals who are likely to become your teachers to an extent, and you can teach each other. There seems to be a mutual exchange of information and knowledge. From the 18th until pretty much the end of the month, the culmination around the 27th of February at the full moon in Virgo, we have a great emphasis towards home, family, parents, roots, and the past. From the 25th of February until the 20th of March, you will feel a more love within the family, and you might embark on something that beautifies the home. You will have the support of Venusian energy, and Venus is a part of your chart in Pisces until the 20th of March. Anything to do with improvement or of the aesthetics of your home environment is very nicely aspected. Also, anything with peace, because Venus is a planet of peace. The full moon in Virgo on the 27th is happening on your 10th house of career, status, and public reputation. Also triggering your house of family, person, and personal life. It looks like you are going to receive a very good news related to career that will be allowing you to spend more time with the family or allowing you to upgrade something within the home environment. It is also seems that you will score a major win against career because of that you will be feeling generous. A grand trine on the 28th of the month has regenerating effect. Really having problems. It's really Mercury. Mercury, of course, it's Mercury retrograde. Okay. The grand trine on the 28th of the month is regenerating effect upon your financial life, and also it will give you a massive boost in your self-esteem. For the best days is, of course, the same for almost for everyone. It's um, favorable days is the 14th of February, and the challenging days is the 10th and the 17th of February. Oh, I just realized why I'm stuttering. I just realized, of course, Mercury is retrograde. Sorry, I can blame everything on Mercury. It's Mercury retrograde's fault. Sorry. Now, Capricorn. The emphasis on this month is on talents, skills, money, and whether you monetize your talents enough, or whether you compensate it enough, or whether you are getting what you deserve. The first two days of the month is with a beautiful aspect between the moon in Libra in your house of career, two planets in Aquarius in your second house of income and values. So if you need approval from anything related to career, from someone in position of power like a boss or a manager, or if you are waiting for a news that have been delayed for quite some time, to a career move with a big project, a lot of exposure to the public, you're probably gonna hear a very positive and very positive news and very positive feedback in the next couple of days. The next 20 days of February are still in Mercury retrograde time in its retrograde time, and it's in your second house of income, money, and values. If you are expecting a payment for someone, it's probably going to be delayed. So I recommend to exercise some patience, something that you're very good at anyway. Also make sure that you have, if you want someone to make a payment towards you, that you haven't given them the correct details. Double check things as them having the right numbers, or a big code, having the right account number, for example, or your email probably not working when you sent your invoices or something like that. there is a delay, clearly. Check the right person where you send your email to, and there is definitely something lost in translation over there. So if you want to reach out to someone, make sure they have all the correct details and they receive all the information. Throughout the entire month, Saturn is going to be in your second house of income and values in a tense aspect with Uranus on the fifth house of love, romance, and creativity. The aspect is exact on the 17th of February. It looks like worries, fear, challenges related to a possible payment or related to available financial resources are getting a bit in the way of you having a real good fun time with a real romantic partner. Or they seem to get in a way a little bit in your ability simply to relax and enjoy yourself and have a good time. It is an aspect of frustration. It is also an aspect that says if you can't have fun, you might as well do some work. Well, you're probably the last person that needs to hear this, but it works for you, so why not? In Mars and Taurus is on the fifth house and of enjoyment and love, fun, activities, aspecting harmoniously with Pluto in your first house between the 14th and the 25th of February. Mars is a planet of action, whilst Pluto is a planet of regeneration, death, and rebirth, and is also associated with power and obsession. So between this period, this is an aspect that is all things intimate, full of passion and love. On the 11th, the full moon is in Aquarius on your second house of money, income, and values, with 6 planets on Aquarius. The major Capricorn folks will be welcoming a new source of income in their sorry uh, Capricorn folks will be welcoming a new source of income in their life at that time. Most of you are feeling it in your bones. You are entering a feeling of growth and expansion terms and recognizing, acknowledging, and monetizing your talents and really asking yourself, am I paid enough? Am I getting compensated properly? Am I being valued enough? Well, this can translate into searching for a new job. It can also translate as a significant boost to your self-worth and self-esteem. And as a result of that, you will be keen to embark on a much better or wider journey uh, that you have for the last few years that might have felt very restrictive. From the 18th going forward, with a culmination around the full moon in Virgo, on the 27th, the focus is shifting to the third house of communication. So in this period, you will feel more sociable than usual, a lot of interactions via email, phone calls, messages, and a lot to do with asking and exchanging information. The full moon is also triggering both your third house and ninth house. This is axis of learning. This time, a lot of Capricorn folks are getting their results from their exams or completing an expansion of journey that might have started 6 months before. And it is also the time you will hear new related to travel, news related to travel, or you may plan to travel around this time. It can bring with the full moon an unexpected short trip with a romantic partner that will turn out to be more fun than you expected because Uranus is in a beautiful aspect with the sun and the moon in Uranus is in your house of love. The best days for February is on the 11th, the 4th, and the 25th, and the challenging days are 10th and the 17th of February. So, there you go, Capricorn. Almost there. Aquarius, here we go. For the first 20 days of the month, you are going to have a Mercury retrograde in your first house of identity. This is triggering a rethinking process when it comes to you, who you are, what you want, what you take pride in, and what your values, and what is your purpose, or how do I shine in the world. In the first 2 weeks of the month, there is a very high chance that you might be thinking about yourself, your goals, plans, who you want to be in the world, and as a result of that, you might be a little bit less inclined to communicate or interact with others. You're also sort of a loner. In the first 3 weeks of the month, it is a very high chance that you might be thinking about yourself, your goal plans, who want to be, oh, that I've already read, sorry. In the first 2 days of February, it's also good because the moon in Libra in your ninth house of higher mind and belief system is aspecting nicely in the planets in Aquarius. You are thinking right now you want to grow, you want to where you can explore and where you're feeling very optimistic. On the other hand, be careful not to think too big, not considering all the other duties that you have in your life. Because when Mercury gets out of retrograde and when you start to feel more strongly the energy of Saturn, you might be reminded that you can't just go travel the world now when you want, and even if you feel like it is because you have to attend to your duties and responsibilities first, because that is what Saturn wants from you. Saturn is squaring your home and family, so even you're dreaming very far away, your duties call for a family that need you or rely on you will come first. Some practical matters will need to be taken care of, especially around the 17th. The Mars in Taurus is in your fourth house, trining Pluto in your 12th house between the 14th and the 25th. It looks like you have a particular issue that you have to solve in your home, a parent maybe, or something that bursts electrical, because Mercury retrograde, a lot of electrical gadgets go bust actually. That you can solve, and you will set of that. On the 11th, the full moon is in your first house of identity, with 6 planets all in the same house, given all of the 6th house, given 3 days before, 3 days after you are beginning for a major chapter in your life, stepping into a new identity, which is likely to be for at least 14 years self-development. 14 years of self-development. That's a long time. Growth of discovering for you discovering who you truly are, finding ways to express and show your authentic self, and defining the new hero journey. This has got to do with the closures that you have to deal with in the past 3 years of your life when Saturn and Jupiter were transiting in your 12th house, which is the dissolution of the ego. The ego is now gone. It was dissolved in 2017 and until December 2020, and now it starts building a new sense of individuality, a new identity. So from the 8th of February onwards, we have to focus, shift in your second house, the house of value, talents, skill. Obviously, you probably are going to start a new life. You are embarking upon a new journey from the 11th of February. Your attention is shifting to what you can do for others and what your talents and how you monetize what is going into your financial sphere. How you can make money and how can you value yourself better. There is a combination in this part of your chart on the 27th with the full moon happening in Virgo, triggering your financial axis on the second house and 8th house, which is your 8th house, other people's money, and the second house, your own money. It looks like you are striking a bargain with your family, so to make a lump sum of money that has made its way to you. It is possible that is with someone you are in a marriage or in a partnership that you are that might actually reap the rewards of the investment, and or it could also be an inheritance, an insurance perhaps, and you could also benefit from those resources. It seems to be coming very suddenly, very unexpected, and very likely to will put it towards a home. If you're waiting for approval for a mortgage or a loan or a lump sum of money that involves real estate, then you are probably going to get unexpected good news because Uranus wants to take you by the storm or take you by surprise. There is a fantastic grand trine happening on the 28th of February on the earth signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. With the moon in Virgo on your head, 8th house of shared resources, Mars on the 4th house of home and family, and Pluto in the 12th house. This is the time when you are feeling very supported by family member, by a partner, or by an external entity, and you will be also seeing why you have had to let go of some of the structures of your past life in order to reach this point of culmination. The best time when you are feeling very supported by the family or by a partner is by an external entities. The best days for this month of February is on the 11th and the 14th, and the challenging days are the 10th and the 17th of February. And now we are almost at the end with Pisces. A lot of rest and a lot of time by yourself, with yourself looking inwards. It's a self-reflecting moment for you, Pisces. Mercury retrograde for the first 20 days in the month. Retrograde for the first 20 days of the month in your 12th house. Mercury is a messenger, the planet that governs the logical mind, the thought and processes and communication. In the first 20 days, you are probably thinking of doing things privately, stepping away from everyone else, from social interaction, stepping away from being too socially involved and reflect. And you seem to be reflecting on a matter that is related either your partner or a parent. You can find yourself really reflective and perhaps even nostalgic. For some of you, from someone in the past, you might be looking at some old pictures or photographs because Neptune, which is your ruler, is squaring the North Node on your sector of emotions. So your emotions at the moment are particularly vivid, and Venus moving to the 12th house can activate your anxieties and concerns around very deep bonds. The first 2 days of February, the moon in Libra on the 8th house is very nicely aspecting the planet in your 12th house in Aquarius. So the messages that you are getting through meditation, through your self-reflection, and through your dreams, you know, and to be could be very soothing and can calm your nerves. Throughout the month of February, we have Saturn in the 12th house in a tense aspect with Uranus on the 3rd house. So there will be attention throughout the month. Between the 14th and the 25th, we have Mars in Taurus in your 3rd house of communication, siblings and transportation, networking with a beautiful aspect to Pluto, planet, the planet of power in your 11th house. Uh, also, the 11th house of friends and long-term plans. You seem to be forming some powerful alliances throughout this time frame. You're either finding yourself in a new group of people that will influence, and oh man, this is this. Okay, sorry. You seem to be performing bowel experience. Oh God, am I still on? Because there's insufficient saying this. Sorry for that. I've got some blinking thing there. So between the 14th and 25th, we have Mars in Taurus in your 3rd house of communication, siblings, transportation, and networking, with all the beautiful aspect to be forming with some powerful alliances throughout this time frame. You are either finding yourself in a new group of people that you have a lot of influence, that you have a lot of clout, friends of high places, for instance, and you seem to be connecting very beautifully with them on a mental and physical level. And they can inspire you to pursue your bigger objectives for the future. There will be probably give practical and tangible advice. On the 11th of February, we have the new moon happening in Aquarius in your 12th house of spirituality, of past lives and unconscious, of dreams and self-respect. It looks like you are essentially and officially feeling like you are entering a new cycle, and most likely gonna last for the next 2.5 years until March 2023, when Saturn moves out from this sector of your chart. You are entering a new cycle of spiritual development. On the 11th of February, given 3 days before, 3 days after, you really have to think about what is the vision you want to manifest in the future, and how you want to connect with the divinity to help you manifest this vision. And whatever divinity or higher self Has any messages as to who can help you? What is the best course of action forward? It's time of clarification, but it's by connecting to other dimension through your subconscious and through your higher self, whatever you want to call it. Write down your dreams if you had some dreams. Write whatever messages your dreams are telling you. The answers will all be there and tend to be very useful in the next 2.5 years. From the 18th of February onwards, with the culminating moment around the 27th of February, the full moon in Virgo, the light of day is shifting towards your first house of identity. You are likely to feel that you are ready to face the world and set a new chapter symbolically. On the 2nd of February, give and take, on the 27th of February, there is a full moon happening in Virgo on your 7th house. This is big. A lot might engage at this time, and you might receive a fantastic news from a partner because Uranus involved in the 3rd house, which is the house of communication. You might also be signing a contract with business partner, and which is very lucrative at this time. You might also find an excellent consultant that needs for any needs that you might have, especially in connection to learning, communication, and anything that involves transportation. And finally, for the best days for February is the 11th and the 14th, and the challenging days are the 10th and the 17th. Well, that's it for now. I don't know if this is still going on because I have some messages on my screen. So until the next time, thank you all for watching. Bye. I think I'm not done anymore. I already stopped streaming. Why is it still there? Did it?